Welcome to Tadou Parc de la Mia, the Sanguinay Sea Park project. We are exploring two different approaches to the declining whale population through an atmospheric presentation. During my research, I found a few contributing factors. There are tour boats and shipping routes that intersect the marine park and by its border. These greatly interfere with beluga whale breeding habitats via sound and waste pollution. These vessels would also intersect the major migration routes of beluga whales, leading to potential collisions and further noise interference. There is also waste pollution flowing from upstream near Quebec City, which negatively affect the habitat and breeding ground of these whales. This led to me choosing my site, which is located where the Saguenay River flows into the St. Lawrence River, just outside the town of Tadou. The two approaches I'm taking include bolstering the local valley ecology by building a garden or farm, and setting up a system of whale watching bridges and domes, inspired by Christo's floating piers, which we can use to reduce the number of whale watching vessels, while also providing a more intimate way to get closer to these creatures without interfering with them. This is my answer to bring awareness to this issue without interfering or becoming invasive. As mentioned at mid-semester, the first approach is to build a park and gardens at the edge of the river. We are bolstering the local ecosystem. As being a glacial valley, nutrients and sediments will naturally flow down the sides of the valley, down into the water below. This creates a lush and rich ecosystem, with the farm providing even more nutrients for the marine ecosystem below. We are intervening by strengthening the lowest part of the food chain, by increasing nutrients for seagrass, which will create a richer habitat and increase sustenance for the beluga whales. This second approach was adapted from the mid-semester project. Inspired by Christo's floating piers, my project takes it a step further by creating individual domes. While the pier remains a public access thoroughfare for whale watching, it is a more staple piece, though it can still be brought in if required. Team members can instead take a handful of individuals out onto the river in these perspex domes. These are much more private and intimate, trying to recreate the feeling of a whale watching tour boat, instead allowing individuals to get closer to these creatures without the usual sound and noise pollution. These domes will then anchor back to the piers themselves, being much more temporary installations which can be brought back in at the end of each day. Each dome is also slightly different. We have those made for much more relaxing and allow people to relax and just enjoy the scenery, as well as ones with perspex bottoms, allowing people to see under the waves to see the marine environment itself. An additional feature would be allow these to be removed, allowing researchers to be able to get closer to study these creatures and their habitat. I would also like to note that in trying to bring awareness to these endangered creatures, it is difficult to get too close without being invasive. Therefore, this approach is much more hands-on and more people-oriented, and is instead drawing attention to the view and spectacle, rather than directly to the whales themselves. Thank you everyone for listening, and hope you have a nice day.